Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I wanted to, before we got very far down the road with the videos, I wanted to be able to define some terms for you guys, because as you watch these videos, we're going to be using Hebrew terminology, terminology from the synagogue and so forth, that you may not be familiar with. And so I wanted to just give you basically a video glossary. Obviously it's not going to be exhaustive. I can't cover every single word that I'll ever use that will be Hebrew at this point in time, but I can give you some basics, and then we can go from there. As my hope and my plan, and I try to do this in the messages that I give in the synagogue, is that as I use a Hebrew term, I will then translate it into English so that you can know what it is that I'm actually talking about. I want to start with the term Torah. For those of you who are not familiar with that particular term, Torah refers to the first 5 books of the Bible written by Moses. They would be Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And in Hebrew, you'll hear me refer to them as Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, and Devarim. Those are the Hebrew names for those books. So those 5 books comprise the Torah. Now there's another word that you'll hear me use in reference to the whole of the Hebrew Scriptures, what we call the Hebrew Scriptures. What you might call, if you're from a Christian background, the Old Testament. We refer to that as the Tanakh. And that particular term is actually an anagram formed from Torah, Nevi'im, which are the prophets, the prophetic writings, and then Ketuvim, which are the writings of wisdom, such as Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. Those kinds of writings are grouped together into what's called the Ketuvim. And so by taking the first letters of each of those, Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, and combining them, they've derived a new Hebrew word, Tanakh, which represents the totality of the Hebrew Scriptures. You'll also hear me refer to what many of you would call the New Testament as the Brit Chadashah. This is actually means the New Covenant, and this is the term that we use to refer to what you would know as the New Testament. You'll also hear me quite frequently call the different characters in the Bible by their Hebrew names, both in the Tanakh and in the Brit Chadashah. And so you'll hear me say things like Moshe for Moses, and Avraham for Abraham, Yitzchak for Isaac, and Yaakov for Jacob. And then in the Brit Chadashah, you'll hear me refer to Matthew as Mattatyahu, to John as Yochanan, to James by his Hebrew name Yaakov, to Peter, Simon Peter would be in Hebrew Shimon Kephah. And so you'll hear these terms like this, these names spoken in Hebrew as well. And again, like I said, as I go through these videos, my intent is to, when I say a Hebrew name, to then turn around and give the English equivalent so that you'll know about whom I'm talking. You'll also hear me speak about Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael means the land of Israel. You'll hear me use the term Eis Chaim. Eis Chaim means the tree of life. The Torah is considered Eis Chaim, the tree of life. You'll also hear me speak about the Shema, which is the central declaration for the Jewish people. The Shema, in Hebrew, it's Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. And it means, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Blessed is His name, whose glorious kingdom is forever and ever. This is the central declaration of all Jewish people worldwide. It speaks of the Echad, or oneness of God. You'll also hear me refer to the seventh day Sabbath as Shabbat. Again, this is a Hebrew term meaning the day that God set aside as special for Himself, a day of rest to Himself, and so we refer to that as the Shabbat. And then finally, I want to give you the name of our congregation and explain to you what that name means briefly. There will be a more lengthy explanation in the video that we'll produce a little bit later about how we came up with the name of our congregation, because it's unique amongst names of synagogues, both in rabbinic circles and messianic circles. It's an unusual name. But the name of our congregation is Adonai Yimelezot. And first, the word Adonai is, it would be translated in English, the Lord. So it is a title for God, the Lord. So the first word is the Lord. The next word is Yemele, which is actually an ancient Hebrew usage that is not used any longer in modern Hebrew. But what it means, it can actually mean several things, but what it means in this particular setting is will accomplish. And then the Hebrew word zot is just very simply this. So the name of our congregation is The Lord Will Accomplish This. So here is your glossary of terms. What I'm going to do on this particular video, I'm actually going to, in the comments section, take all of these words and give you the definitions as a post. And that way, as you watch future videos, if you need to come back and take a look and find out what I just said, because I used Hebrew terminology, then you'll have that on this particular video. We bless you, and we say shalom to you and your house, and we hope that you continue to watch. Thank you.